Today, we're going to be talking about an extremely important topic. That is mistakes that happen when you are getting a green card for your mother or your father. And the content that I'm going to be sharing with you today is going to be incredibly important if you have a green card and your children applied for you and you've been living with this green card for a few years. You may be wondering what you need to do to make sure that your green card is protected and safe. If you don't know me, my name is Josh Goldstein. I'm an immigration lawyer here in Los Angeles. I also have an office in Boston on the East Coast, and we represent people and families across the US and around the world, and we help people reach their immigration goals. And there's no topic that's more important to me than helping your parents get green cards. We have clients and we take them through the immigration journey. And when they get to, hello, Sherry. When they get to the point where they become a U.S. citizen, it's this great triumph. And then the first thing they say is, okay, well, how do I get a green card for my mother and father? That's the first thing that they ask after they get their citizenship. And I want to tell you how this topic came to mind for me. Over the last few weeks, I got a phone call on a Saturday from a friend I hadn't talked to in a long time. He said, Josh, my dad is being arrested. And he texted me, and I called him right away. His dad was at the airport. His dad has a green card and has been living outside the United States. This has gone on for quite a while. And what his dad does is he comes back to the U.S. every so often, but he lives outside the U.S. And what happened when he was arrested at the airport was that the immigration agency started questioning him and asking his father questions about where his father lived and worked and spent time and where his family lived. And they're trying to determine where he actually, in fact, lives. Does he live in the U.S. or does he live outside the U.S.? Because one of the key rules is that if you have a green card, you're a permanent resident of the United States. And that means you have a mandatory legal obligation to physically live in the United States. And if you don't do that, you get in trouble. And that's exactly what was happening in this case. Now, in this situation, his father was allowed to enter the U.S. With a warning. But what happens is if you live outside the U.S. with a green card in violation of the residency requirement, eventually it doesn't work. And eventually what happens is you come into the airport, and instead of letting you in, they tell you you have to go to immigration court. When you go to immigration court, you're in what's called abandonment proceedings. And you can keep your green card if you can convince the judge that you have not abandoned your green card by living outside the U.S. So that's the topic at trial. Are you living inside the U.S. or outside the U.S.? And these cases often end in disappointment. And people say, oh my God, I didn't know that I had to live in the U.S. with my green card. Is this some sort of new rule? Where did this come about? I have so many friends, they have green cards and they've been living abroad for years. Why are you saying we can't do this? Or they say, I have had a green card for many years and have lived abroad. So why are you, they're always surprised by this. So when clients approach me and they say, Josh, how much do you charge for the green card? I want to apply for my mother and father. I always tell them to take a deep breath and answer a few questions. And then I start to ask them questions like this. Do your parents want to leave their home country, move to the U.S. and live there permanently and exclusively? Or are they just thinking about they want the green card because it's cool and it's a nice symbol, and they think that they might in the future at some later date that they don't know about, they might want to immigrate to the U.S. That's usually the topic of conversation. If you're listening, let me know if you have questions about this or anything else. I'm here to help. I'm here to answer questions. And when I talk to clients and they want to hire me for a green card or anything else, I'm not looking to sell my services. I'm looking to find out whether the person has goals that I can help them reach, whether their goals are realistic, whether it makes sense what they're doing. And if you're trying to apply for your mother or father, and your mother and father don't have any intention of actually living in the U.S., then unfortunately, I think that you may be going in the wrong direction. And people are like, okay, well, I just need to know how long is it going to take, and what are the steps, and what documents do I need, and how long is it going to take, and how much money is it going to cost, and so on. I'm like, wait a minute. Before you, it'd be like if you said, you know, what's the best? I need you to give me a travel itinerary in London. I want to go to, I'm going to London. And then you hadn't even decided whether or not you wanted to go to London, whether it made sense to go to London. So if you're making a plan to go to a particular destination, you have to make sure that before you plan that, you have to make sure it makes sense what you're doing. Does this make sense? Let me know if you have questions about this. I'm here to help you. I'm here to answer them. A lot of the questions we get are about green cards for parents. A lot of people are surprised by this information, but other questions we get are about visas, about work permits, about how to avoid deportation. We have a series of videos coming out about how to prepare for your interview, what documents to bring to your interview, how to make sure that your interview goes very, very well instead of going poorly. These are the questions that are on my mind this morning. What questions are on your mind? Reach out to me and let me know. I'm here to help. I'm here to answer any questions that you have. And in the meantime, I'll just keep talking about some of the things that are so compelling that I've come across recently. Really, when I interact with people who need help, I'm always asking them, how important is it for you to reach your immigration goal? What does it mean to you and to your life to finally get that work permit or get a green card or get approved for asylum or whatever immigration goal you have? Maybe it's to get a visa for a loved one. I'm always trying to dig in and understand the underlying importance of your immigration case. Once we uncover the importance of your case, then we can begin to look at why you're doing it and how we can help. That is typically how I process these cases and how I think about them. One of the things that comes to mind recently is when you're preparing an interview. And I got a call frantically from a client, and he said, "Oh my God, you'll never believe it." I said, "What happened?" He said, "I forgot my birth certificate. I didn't know that I had to bring my birth certificate, and I forgot to bring it, and I'm in a panic. You didn't tell me. How can I? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?" And he was in a panic mode. And the first thing I told him is, well, if your interview is in 2 hours and you don't have your birth certificate, you're not going to have it. So you have to realize that it is what it is and take a deep breath and don't lose your mind over this, because the interview is coming and you want to be cool, calm, and collective. You don't want to be in a panic. And secondly, I said to him, if you don't have the right document, you can always bring it back later. Now, obviously, this is to be avoided. This is not optimal, but nevertheless, I did that to allay his concerns that the case was in trouble, was in real trouble. But when it comes to documents, you really want to bring all of your documents to the interview. And now it sounds like such an obvious point, but people always ask me all the time. They hold up a document and they say, "Hey, should I bring this to my interview?" And the question is, without even knowing what document it is, the question is, yes, you should bring that to the interview. Why should you bring it to the interview? Well, it might possibly be relevant, right? There could be some relevance to that document. And if there's some potential relevance, then you should bring it to your interview. Because if you don't bring the document to your interview and you leave it at home, which is your other choice, and they ask for it, well, then you've wound up with a bigger problem. Does that make sense? Pardon me. Um, Yeah. All right. Today is National Donut Day. Um, I don't know if it's actually National Donut Day, but I got donuts for my kids on the way to school, which was a lot of fun. Um, Probably horrible for their health, but a hell of a lot of fun for them. And, you know, as a parent, sometimes you have to give in to these sorts of things. What questions are on your mind about parenting, green cards, or anything else? Please let me know. Um, and sometimes if people are like, well, how can we reach you? How do we get an appointment with you or your team? And if you look right above my giant forehead, you'll see a phone number, 213-262-2000. That's the number for our office. You can give us a call, you can make an appointment, you can email me. I'll put my email here so you can find it. Here you go. Josh@jgoldlaw.com. That's my email. Send me an email. Uh, Tell me what's going on. Let me know how I can help. And if you contact me, if you email me, um, my team and I will get back to you. We'll sort it out. We'll tell you how we can help you out. And I'm confident that we can help you reach your immigration goals. Um, it's a challenge when it comes to immigration. There's always something. And the thing that's been on my mind a lot lately has been the election. I know the election is not for another year, but nevertheless, I can't help notice that one of the two candidates is going to be Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has radical, sweeping plans for immigration. If he's elected, um, you can kiss the green card for your parents goodbye, because they won't be getting interviews for their visa. The consulates will be shut down. And it seems kind of alarmist to say that, but he's said as much. So that's uh, that's really um, that's really discouraging. But it is kind of encouraging in a way. Well, not encouraging, but I think it's important to deal with reality as it is. And if we know that there's a possibility that the immigration system could be shut down in January of 2025 if Trump or another Republican becomes president, then you need to take action now with urgency on your immigration case. And what does that mean? Well, if you're eligible for naturalization and you never got around to applying, you should do so right away. If you're waiting for your visa and you're in administrative processing and your case is stuck, you should call us immediately and contact us. We can help you. Whatever action you've been delaying when it comes to immigration, it's important to take action really quickly. One of my favorite sayings is the best time to have done something with immigration is a while ago. The second best time is right now. And there's no better time to take action than immediately, because Donald Trump it's very possible that he could become the next president. And sometimes people say, well, that's not possible. He lost in 2020. The midterm elections were unsuccessful for Republicans, are doing terrible. He's unpopular, and so on. But only a fool would underestimate Donald Trump at this point. And even if he's in problems with criminal law, criminal convictions, ongoing trials, I wouldn't put it past him to win the election. And if he does, God forbid, then there will be a lot of tears shed when people's immigration cases are stuck and stalled and impossible to get approved. It's depressing, but it also should motivate you to take action with urgency, I hope. And by the way, I don't mean to get into the politics of immigration. Biden versus Trump, criticism of Trump, criticism of Biden. All of this is kind of background noise to me as a professional. I'm not here to defend Biden or criticize Trump. I'm only looking at it through the lens of a practical immigration lawyer who likes to help people reach their immigration goals. It's all I care about. I'm not here to debate or defend Biden. I think of it in practical terms. If Trump wins, you're not getting the visa. If Trump doesn't win, great, but there's a possibility that he might. I just want to bring that to your attention. I mention it all the time because it's something I'm thinking about. And, January 2025 seems like a long time from now, but when you look at how long immigration cases actually take right now, how delayed they are, how long the processing times are, you realize that right now it's already, if you were to start an application for your parents now, it may not even be finished processing by that date, by January 2025. So it really is later than it seems, and you should definitely take action as quickly as possible. That's one thing on my mind. Um, one of the things that is great, or one thing I'm proud about in our office, is that we work as a team. So, if you hire a lawyer, you usually have a lawyer and a paralegal. But in our firm, you have a whole team behind you. You have a team of people, me, and many others, which is a very powerful thing. We work in tandem together. We have all sorts of communication systems internally, and it's pretty amazing. Um, so there's that. And really want to leave you with a few other tips this morning that are on my mind. And I hope that this has been highly helpful to you.